All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for today's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And as always, we are so happy and grateful for all of you being here with us as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. Happy Friday, everybody. If you can hear me loud and clear, do me a huge favor, drop me a 1 in the chat, and we can get this session on its way. Close out the week. All right. All right. Okay, so it's Friday, right? So let's go ahead and jump into the fundamentals, bang through these charts, and we will go ahead and enjoy our Friday. All right, a little TGIF. So let's go back a little bit and go to Thursday, right? We got a little bit of a surprise, right? A little bit of a surprise, slight though, right? Slight. CPI came in, actually beat expectations, right? It was expected forecast is 0.3%, which was a projected down from the previous, right? We see 0.6 forecast, 0.3%. CPI month over month came in at 0.4. Then we came in, we had for the core CPI came in right where it's supposed to be. So we saw the reaction with the dollar that came through yesterday, pushed the market up a bit. But some of those setups that we are in are still in place. So we got an initial reaction, then things started to calm down a little bit. So we'll continue to watch that. And then out of China, CPI year over year came in flat, right? So expected 0.2% came in flat. So still having some challenges, right? Trade balance came in good, surplus for China. That's a good thing there. So that was that. That was the biggest thing yesterday. Besides the GDP for the UK came in at 0.2%. And that was actually a good thing considering some of the struggles that they've had. Now, today, we've got Governor Bailey speaking. That's always important whenever we have a central banker speaking. So Governor Bailey from the Bank of England will be talking. Well, that was at 4 a.m. So he already spoke. Sorry about that. It's past tense. Solid progress on inflation. Solid progress on inflation, but there's work left to do. So policy needs to be restrictive. Recent decision was a tight one. UK outlook very subdued. Going forward, decisions will continue to be tight. Okay, right? So a lot of back and forth in the BOE. And so it said there's a lot of work to do. So we saw that this morning, if you were paying attention to some of the pound pairs, right? We saw a push up, right? A pound NZD, pound Aussie, some other pairs, right? We saw a positive move to the upside. So, all right, that's that. And then we have, let me get back to the calendar. Today, we have University of Michigan consumer sentiment for the US, right? So that's always important to check to find out what the consumer sentiment is. And that's that. And then we've got Governor Bailey actually on Saturday and Lagarde speaking. So not sure what the topics are going to be. I have to look into that. Any questions on the fundamentals?
I do have a question. I was
Sure.
reading a biased article. Well, I was trying to take it as informative, then I realized it was biased. Do you think it's a lot of fear mongering going on with the China data so then that way they can try to control the market?
What do you mean in regards to what data? What type of data coming out of China?
They were saying, I done lost the article. It was on investing.com. I was just reading it. They were saying far as the CPI numbers,
Okay.
the consumer price index was unchanged, and how it was forecasted, and that the PPI, how it fell and everything. But they're saying that as far as insinuating that there's no deflation, that they're stabilizing and everything, but they could really not be. It's not probably not as good as what they're trying to insinuate it is.
Oh, for China? No, well, historically, the word has been that they're not always completely transparent with their data. So that's where that's coming from. Just historically, people have felt. Now, I'm assuming that when people continuously are saying that there's been proof in the past that they haven't been transparent. So that's so pretty much people are always skeptical of the data coming out of China. So there is a bias, because I'm pretty sure, if you ask them, they're going to say that's not the truth, right? So, of course, it was a biased article, but there are a lot of people who feel like that data is not always clean coming out of China. But I got several opinions about that and why that might be, but I'll leave it alone for this call. So I don't know. Hope that helps you out a little bit. But there's a historical precedence to that.
I was just trying to keep up on
Mm-hmm.
oil and everything, and Biden being the biggest, so to speak, contributor.
Absolutely. And the thing is, they still are right now. They still are. I think that's gonna remain that way for quite some time, because they're hell bent on expansion and growing that economy and developing and things like that. They got some real estate issues and stuff like that with some of the major real estate developers. That's been an issue that's been ongoing. But it's been fits and starts with them coming out of the pandemic, but they are still the second largest economy in the world. So we have to respect that one fact. Yep, a great question though. I'm glad you're reading and educating yourself. That's key. Yep. All right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing well, man. Glad to be here. How about yourself?
Doing great. It's Friday.
Yes, sir.
It's Friday. Great to be alive, man, as always. All right. Great to be alive. Yeah. Counting those blessings for sure. So anything on a fundamental front that you might have caught? It's just quiet towards the end of the week besides the CPI data.
Yeah, no, nothing right now, man. No, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. A lot of good moves playing out. Dollar still bouncing around, doing its thing. So we'll see what it wants to do. Yeah. So appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. So here we are with this dollar, looking at it on the 4, right? So we don't have a 382 retracement yet. It's bouncing around, right? We got that boost CPI data that came out a little bit above expectations, just slightly. And it was just in some key categories when you really break it down. But you can see here, past resistance becoming future support. Don't know if that's going to maintain, right? We got a little misalignment with the stochastic in regards to the momentum, at least on the 4, right? If we come here to the daily, though, right, we're way oversold. Okay, so this has range potential written all over, but we'll see. That was a pretty strong move yesterday, and we're starting to get bullish again. Reese, what you thinking? What do you think on this, Reese? Let us know. Give us some feedback on this dollar. I'm bullish over the long term. Just wondering in the short term, could we see either a range type move back to the bottom eventually, or if it's just going to continue to break out to the upside. Not sure, but right now it's retesting that area pretty nice, right? So if you look at the 1 hour chart here, right, that's a beautiful retest of that level. And we know, right, our candlestick formations, we have, wrong shape. Hey, beautiful, right? Morning star popping off that level. So we'll see if it can maintain this momentum. Not sure. Let's see what happens with U.S. consumer sentiment, see if it impacts it at all. Bullish while above 105, just playing the levels. Yep. I can roll with that. Right. So let's see. All right, let's see what it wants to do. But that's a nice break in the retest right now that's going on. Okay, so slight correction in the retest. So we'll see how it plays out. All right. So let's move into these charts, right? We'll take a look at Aussie CAD. As a matter of fact, before we do that, 1 second here. Let's take a look at some of our big players in the stock game. See what's going on. How is it moving, right? And kind of get a gauge on what might be occurring. I don't know. Ryan, are your charts moving slow? Or is it just me and my internet connection?
Mine was slow to move earlier.
Yeah, mine's are too. It's a little choppy. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it'll maintain throughout the session, but appreciate it. So Apple, right? 80-20. Look at the correction. Okay, these are ones that we mapped out a long time ago. And look at the U-turn, right? We've come back now to fill that gap. Okay. So we tapped that 182 area. Let's see, right? Can we maintain the bullish momentum and get above 182? Doesn't matter, right? What we're looking at is the same type of pattern playing out over and over again. So that's Apple on the 4-hour chart. We've got a rally, right? Rally off 170.50. And that's looking bullish right now. I wonder if it can get over that 182.61 and continue to the upside. All right, so that's Apple. Just a quick look in on that. Let's look at Amazon. My guess is probably moving the same way. So we've got some bullish momentum. And let's see what we've got. And my charts are moving super slow. So Amazon's moving to fulfill that gap too as well. So deep retracement, right? We got an 8-6 retracement on that reversal to the downside and went bullish, right? We're above that 131. Okay, see if we can retest the high. What was the high on this previous candle, 4-hour candle? It's amazing how price comes back to fill those gaps eventually. 134.48. So we're moving up on Amazon. All right, see if we can get to 130, get to 136 and then beyond that. All right, so quick look at Apple and Amazon. Looking at Aussie CAD. It's a nice swing on those two. We were talking about this one yesterday, how it just continued to retest that area 3 times, and we got short. Anybody take that Aussie CAD setup to the downside? Broke trend line and it broke that 86.90 level that we covered yesterday. It's all good. It's another one right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm in that one short.
And the short took it short. Yeah, I think it's time for that one to potentially start to work its way and finish out and get to that D extension. But we'll see, because it's been a little range bound, right? So we know this 86.23 that is coming into it reacted before. And so, manage to trade accordingly if you're in it. All right. So that's a nice move, right? So since it's broken below and closed below 86.90, 40 pips or so since that break. But we know there's a larger move at play. And we're looking forward to eventually get to that D extension if we can break out of this little bit of range that's going on here, right? So we're looking for this ABCD move to complete, right? So there was a high there. So we expect a 1.618 D extension. Okay. Touched the daily 3 times, then it tested 4 and dropped. It did. It hung right around. It didn't get back above. I was thinking in the beginning, like maybe it was to go back and retest that down trend line, get short there, but it triple topped right in that zone and it dropped. So that's been a nice place. So that's the Aussie CAD. Any questions on the Aussie CAD? Looking bearish right now. Coming into a major support though. Okay. No. And if we zoom in, right, it's not the it's not the first time it reacted at this level, right? So we've got there, here, where we reacted, and then so right there in that zone, and then the one we just pointed out. So it's coming back to test that area again. We'll see if it finally wants to break it or not. All right. Read the charts, it gives you hope for another level. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get the basic nuts and bolts down first. See how it flows. See the larger picture. All right. See the larger picture. Great job. You've been putting in a lot of work for quite a while, and it's getting ready to pay off for you. That's that. So let's move in. Take a look at this Aussie Swiss, because I believe Reese, you called out a 80-20 potentially on the 30, I believe.
Yeah, on the 30.
On the 30. So we want to take a look at that. We know originally, look at that, everybody. That's just, man, right? We hit TP1 and then it just collapsed, right? So that was a trade a little while ago now, right? So we came out of that, right? Good structure in an 80-20 zone. That's a weekly level of 56.01. Cleaned up on that one, right? 293 pips. When you look back down to the downside, that's down 168 pips to the downside. Now, if we come and we take a look at this one, right? Now I drew up the zone and the trend line on this, but I didn't short this. I don't know why, but I didn't. But it's moving down. Okay, so we've got a new AV boundary on the one larger wave. Okay, so we've got a 4-hour 57.06 right in the 80-20 zone where we may see a reaction. What Reese called out an 80-20 potentially taking place here on the 30. Okay, so be patient with it. You can see how it's trying to press down. Right, so we got one right here in the zone, 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe we'll press a little lower, maybe we'll press it to that 57.06. Not sure, but great call out, Reese. Appreciate you spotting it. But that is a setup, right? That you can keep your eyes on from that 30-minute chart, right? You can see the potential of it playing out on the 1 hour and the 30-minute. And then here, you got a TP2, but no, right? Because there's another pair that maybe we'll get to it, where I think it might have been an NZD USD, maybe, where you've got that daily level right at that TP2. You got to respect that, right? So you want to make sure that you're looking at potentially getting out. If you're riding to a TP2 and you've got daily resistance or weekly resistance there in the area, you got to be aware the price could react strongly in that area. So if your goal is to get to a TP2 on a particular setup, take profit, right? Take your profit, or at least, you know, adjust your stop, take some money off the table, however you want to manage that trade. But that's the Aussie Swiss on the 30-minute. Questions?
No, sir.
Well, all right. Let's take a quick peek in at this Aussie dollar. Okay. It's fading. Okay. Ryan, caught that head and shoulders on the money. Right? So we're taking a look at this on the 4. Ryan said that's a head and shoulders. It comes through clear on the 1. You can see it here too. All right. Okay. You see it there. All right. Boom. Okay, so we drew that trend line yesterday. We're waiting on the break. Ryan said, hey, we got some additional confirmation, right, with a potential head and shoulders. And we broke down and we got short. Okay. That's how it goes, everybody. That's how it goes, right? So short on that Aussie dollar. Hopefully some people were able to take advantage of that setup on yesterday's session. It is a classic break of a trend line, right? Now we look at this, okay? So something to think about going into next week, right? We got held up at that 236. We could be in a situation, okay, depending on what that dollar wants to do. Okay. depending on what that dollar wants to do. Do we take the ride down? Do we stall at this 118, 127 zone, right? For 80-20, 67, 67, 62, 72 is a daily support level. Do we get a reaction back to the upside? Okay. That puts us 30-minute done that, NZD USD. All right, let me write that one down. We'll work our way to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yes, it does. So let's right, we'll start to mark that up, build that out as a possibility. Now, if you say, Penny, I'm strictly a trend trader, I can't say this enough, okay? Then you're waiting on that price to move up anyway. Hey, I'm bearish on the Aussie. I'm liking the dollar strong. Then you want to see a high price. We want to sell anything that we have for sale. We want to sell it at a high price. So even though you may not play an 80-20 scenario or play a B boundary reversal, you still should be keeping your eyes on the chart because you needed to go in that direction. That's your setup, right? If you're trading with the trend, that's your setup. Okay, waiting on that high price. All right, that's the Aussie dollar. I want to take a look at this this CAD Swiss because it got stopped out the way I had it drawn up. Right. So I know here this is a sign, right? We spotted that a long time ago, right? That's an evening star. What I was hoping for was a correction before we continue to the downside. Right. So that's an obvious scenario here. Boom. It was just a matter of the way it was setting up. On the 4, do we want to pull back? Right. So we can see here that this one never came to fruition, right? So we got to pull back to a 236. We got a nice boost. We got a railroad track situation, right? I believe we posted it once we got that bullish candlestick, but then right away it got taken back and then it just continued to fade. We couldn't get the U-turn, but we hit the stop loss, right? Minus 48 pips if you were in on that, if you took it. But this scenario here, this is a zone that I've got mapped out for a possible reaction, at least a potential pullback, maybe a continuation. So we'll see on this CAD Swiss. But even though it may be ready to continue to fall bearish, there's a possibility for a correction and then a continuation down. That's what we were looking at on the last fit, but it just didn't come to life for us. Just kept moving straight down. So yep. So that there. All right, we want to see it move down. Potentially. But we'll see. Daily stochastics in the buy zone. We don't have, right? This one could go so many different ways, right? We've got an evening star on the weekly, the daily. We don't have a 382. I don't see, Ryan, I know we're a little safe havenish right now, but this was a weird one for me because I don't see long-term declines in the oil price.
I'm with you on that, bro. I don't see that either. So I'm actually with Joy on this one. My original entry, I still have open. So I still have my stop loss at break even on that one, which is a bit lower. So I'm just allowing this one to do its thing. My thought is potentially this one turning around at some point and heading higher. And I think it's just about a matter of when. I haven't seen anything on the Swiss franc to change my opinion there either. So
yeah, because I mean the Canadian numbers has come through pretty good. On top of that, we're getting a correction in that oil price right now.
yeah.
I mean, but this is clearly from the higher time frame range, right? we're in the range when you look at this from the daily. But I'm not sold that it's going to work its way back to the bottom of that range. All right.
Agreed.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're way oversold now. So we'll continue. I know Joy's doing a lot of research, with oil. But I don't see the oil prices going on a major decline. So this might be where we missed. We know a lot of times where we miss, we get a huge correction. So we'll see. I need to actually clean this up now because that's the old setup. But we're starting to get a push off that level. So like you say, let that one play out. Any questions on that cash switch? That's an interesting one. Yeah. No?
No,
All
no,
right.
sir.
Yeah. And because of higher time frames, I cannot trust that the break and retest is more valid than the lower time frames. I like to say yes, right? You got more data in each candle. When you look at this, you've got longer historical data with those higher time frame levels. So yes, your lower time frames, those levels are going to be newer, a lot fresher. But when you go to the higher time frames, you can look at those levels from a historical perspective and see that they've been in existence for quite some time, right? So that's why we do it from the top down. Great question. All right, so let's move on from it. I want to watch this one closely. See if we may drop down a couple time frames and see if this wants to make a higher high and a higher low, pull back, see if it's ready to get moving. So let's watch that one closely, especially going into to next week. What would be a non-OPEC influence? Just overall demand, right? So when you talk about OPEC and things like that, you're talking about supply, right? So you just flip it and go to demand side. Economic conditions tightening, getting worse in some areas that can influence demand, right? Overall demand. We're out of in regards to when you talk about oil, you can talk about seasonality. As we're out of the travel season now, getting deeper into the fall. So those are some of the things that you can consider when talking about that. This is breaking trend line and moving. That's probably going to keep that a break above 66.37. That's probably going to keep rocking and rolling. Hold on 1 second. I'm kind of liking that. There's potential to get back involved with that.
Yeah, I saw that bullish push yesterday and then the pullback and consolidation.
I was this close to grabbing it, but I remained disciplined and just kept the one position.
You just kept the one position. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. This is we get above that level, we might be in business. Let's see. It's starting to break loose, but that's rangy though, so I don't want to play that. Swing. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. I knew that was going to happen. Highs are too close, so let's manually draw this one. This was actually my lowest point. So I need to pull that down like so. And
did you have an 80-20 on the one also?
from the top.
Yep.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, that might be a go. Let me uh-oh. Come on now. Let's do it from this chart. Hold on one. Okay. Yep. Yep. So we know there's a longer term play from that daily because we don't have it, right? So we can kind of build our way up to that level, like so. Right there, and then what I'll do, this is a longer term play. To that 382. That. There. So this is the daily. 38.2. So we've got that up there. That means our 1 hour levels. So let's see if we get above that 66.37 level. Okay, past support, future resistance. See if we can grind higher on that CAD Swiss. All right. Questions on the CAD Swissy? 66.92, 66.92. Okay, 66.92. Okay, 66.92. Yeah, up there. It will kind of breaks above. Yeah. I like that. So let's see. All right, that's that. Take a quick peek in at our CAD yen. Right, we know how we've been playing that for the most part. Long, right, with correction opportunities. So this is the larger play. Okay, stochastics in the buy zone has got a ways to go. Okay, but it's moved quite a ways. So as we move down to the lower time frames, we look for opportunities. Right, so we've had a lot with this setup here. So we can see how we've corrected. Okay, we had a previous ABCD wave that played out. That was a monster play. Now, right, we pulled back to 50% and then we took off. So it's, hey, can we catch continuations here after the correction? See how we're moving down in the zone? So if you are a buyer of the CAD yen, buying that CAD yen, and this is we'll talk about this last move here in a little bit, but if you are a buyer of the CAD yen after this impulse move to the upside, we are looking for a correction down. This would be beautiful at 108.53. It wants to get to that point. And then we look for a move up. Here was the previous move. Okay. On that correction down, right? So that was a beautiful 80-20 on your 1 hour after it hit a 4 hour 1.618D extension, right? So just the ebbs and flows of the market. Look at that, a beautiful correction back down. We pull back, and now we've got this reversal type action. So let's continue to wait and see if we can get a low price to potentially get back long, right? As we've got a nice correction occurring right now off of that B boundary. We're back below that 109.46 daily level. Let's see if we can settle down, right, in that zone. What does that look like with the cloud on it? Yeah, so it's broken through the cloud. Yep. So let's wait and see if we can find support somewhere down around that area on the CAD yen. All right, so you've been in that CAD yen. Wow, since 713. Great job. That's amazing. That's amazing. Good work. Good work. Really, really good stuff there. For sure. Give you some sevens on that one. Way to hold it, right? Because that's how you get good data points to see how it plays out. Like, do we get to, do we get to that 900 pip target? Do we hit it? That's good. That's good. All right, so that's the CAD yen. Thanks for sharing that. Let's look at this Euro Aussie, right? This long play on this Euro Aussie that we talked about. So Ryan, okay, see these things happen in stages, right? So Ryan, a long time ago, said, hey, we've got an 80-20 on the weekly, okay, to the upside. And then you guys know that we all on the lower time frames caught that correction on the Euro Aussie. So the question was, once it gets back down, right, do we hold? And you can see that it's trying to make the U-turn. Fascinating, right? Fascinating. So this is what it looks like, okay, on your daily. Okay, we came in at just about a 618, couldn't close below that 163.43, and we started making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, now we're at 166.71. Here we are breaking out a bit. Look at that. Look at this on the 4. Right? So you guys remember this swing? Just stay active on the charts. Okay. Right? 80-20 swing out of the zone. It was a monster move, right? Then we started to range. We pushed all the way down 50%. We started to range. Okay. So we've broken out a bit. So now if you come here and you take a look at your 1 hour, here's the correction back down to the downside, right? On our smaller wave. Okay, see that? So if you're saying, hey, I'm looking for an initial, long entry, you want to let it come on down if it wants to do that. That would be the preferred setup, like so. Right? And then we look to continue long to see if we can eventually work our way to that weekly 38.2. Okay? So we're making progress so far, right? We've held up. Okay? We've held up. As long as we close this week, right? With this candle, second candle to the right, being higher than the center candle low, you'll have a low of support. That'll be a confirmed higher low. And then maybe we move into a continuation long on this Euro Aussie. Any questions there?
No, sir. Been a beautiful move.
Yeah, it has been, right? Catching that correction on the way down and the swing now. So let's see if it can maintain his energy, right? It's been I will say this, especially the second half of the year, it has been a real trick bag with there's some of these setups, but you know what I mean? But we'll see. That one is holding up. So let's see what happens to it. All right. Okay. Let's continue to move through. Let's take a look at this Euro JPY. Since we're in the Euros. So it looks like we're really starting to get that correction rate. So we've been monthly, right? We've been at that D extension for a while. So now it's looking like it's trying to, right, turn over, retest the level. I'll take this out of here now. Get some clarity, right? So that 156.88 level, if we come down to the 4, okay, we can see exactly what we're doing, right? So still messing around, still choppy, rejecting off this level again. That's a tightly wound range. On the 1, you can see it pretty good, right? So we got that initial move, right? They pretty much carried us right back up to the top of that range, and now we're correcting. So I've got an up fib on this, but it's super rangy, to be honest. Like I took this fib off the low, but you can see, right, we didn't break beyond it. So a beautiful play off the 61.8, but this is really in the range, guys. So let's see what happens when we move back down to this support level, this support zone, to see if we get a reaction back going the other way. I'm going to, I'm seeing that a whole lot more clear. I'm going to just leave this off right now. So when we reacted back to the upside, it's a pretty strong reversal. You know, I'm thinking like, you know what? It might be time for it to break through the top of it, but you can see it respected that area again. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to see if we hold within this range. And then if we do, right, so this is what I'm going to plug in here, like so. And let this continue to ride. And then eventually, if we hold in this zone and we look to reverse and move back the other way, right, get involved, right? Get involved on that. That's a tight range. Everybody see that? Drop me a 1. You guys see how tightly wound that is? Yeah. And 2024 80-20 moves, and God willing, I'll be ready to take advantage of the moves. Yep. Yep. Because you get it now. You get it now. You get it now. You could just sit and wait. You could just sit and wait on those setups all day. Just sit and wait on them all day. So we'll see what happens. What happens with this Euro yen play when it comes back down to support. That's a wild one. All right. So Euro NZD. Pretty decent. Pretty decent play. All right. We got the swing. Okay. TP1 came back to it. Right. That's the 4. That's the 4. And then this was the 1 hour. Boom. Wild pair. Wild pair. Rest of the year is practicing the free demo. Not going to worry about no more about getting it bad the rest of this year. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Sometimes you got to slow down to speed up in the long run. All right. So we're at a 382. We're getting a reaction, right? We're getting a reaction off that level. So if you were in that position, you held that trade, congratulations, right? Price reached TP1, right? So you guys see how it flows, right? Pound New Zealand, right? Went to the level. Euro New Zealand went to the level. Okay, it happens in cycles, right? So we're getting a little reaction at the 382 now. but that may push higher. We got a stochastic on the one that's in the buy zone. Any questions on the Euro NZD?
Yeah, I'm sitting patient here, bro. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes at the TP2 level and above.
Okay.
If it stays inside that AB boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for another short opportunity on that to continue that move off the weekly.
Yes, because that would be beautiful, right? So we move up to that TP2 level, past support, becoming future resistance.
Yep.
So let's see what happens on that. All right, Joy still holding your short too. You make money on the way up and on the way down, and on the way down. So that's that there. Let's take a look at this wild and wacky Euro USD. Yeah, crazy reaction, right? So we were looking at that 106 level, yesterday, to see if it was gonna hold, and you can see it held right on the news. Boom, move back down to the downside. So still in that swing. Some of you might have been stopped out if you moved your stop up to protect yourself, right? Some of you might have got out before the news. Some of us are still holding. So we'll see how it plays out. But that's a strong candle right there this morning, right? To the downside. But it's been quite the whirlwind with this Euro USD setup, but it's still holding within the zone. So we'll see what we get out of that. See if that dollar continues to see past support becoming future resistance. Okay. So we'll see if that dollar continues to gain strength off that retest that's happening with the DXY right now, right? So it's almost the exact opposite, DXY, Euro USD. So that's that. Any questions on that one? That one, you can see how crazy that one's been moving.
I'm curious to see what happens next week with because you mentioned we got Lagarde and Bailey speaking this weekend. Not sure what they're going to be talking about, but depending on what comes out of whatever they're doing, does it impact us early in the week?
Yeah, for sure. I can roll with that, definitely. It's we got a weird scenario, right? We saw yesterday, started to see the bond yields creep back up again after they corrected. It was a pretty nice correction on the bond yields. And we see with that tick up in the bond yields again, you see the dollar, right? Holding strong. Overall, for people who might be wondering, yes, we know the dollar is strong. It's just a matter of whether or not it wants to cool off and let this euro correct to the upside. That's the play. Right, that's what you get involved with when you're counter trend trading. So yes, the overall bias for the dollar is bullish, but we know how this market moves in ways. And do we get a correction? Right? Do we get a correction to a high price? So then we can ultimately short it. That's it. So this one is still doing the dance. So let's see what happens with it. But that 106 was strong, right? We talked about that yesterday morning. That 106.37, and it held. All right. That's that on the Euro USD. Let's look at this pound Aussie, okay, and the move up that is making. Getting a U-turn, and we can see now, right? Look at that. A, B, C, D's, right? We know we had the 80-20, the forever 80-20 that came down to TP2, and then we got a reaction off that 61.8. We're above the cloud, but you can see how we hit it? No, we didn't. So you can see how we're inner to outer trend line, okay? You see we're approaching, right, a 1.618 extension. You can see we're getting a bit of a reaction here to the downside. But overall, that play that we took was bullish. And you can see here, right, how it moved off the level. Inner to outer trend line. There's a lot of money to be made there on reversals. Okay. So it's important to draw your trend lines properly if you're using them. enter the outer trend line breaks. Okay, so there we are there. So now it's moving sideways, moving bearish. Okay, and we'll continue to follow that one. Maybe we come back down and retest this 192.24 monthly level that it broke through, right? We haven't had a retest of that level yet. Think about that. That's the pound Aussie, right? Made the money on the way down. Now we're making the money on the way up. Any questions?
Yeah, this one I'm still sitting patient too. I want to see that 193 level tested. Have a fear of running off the high.
Okay.
And that 193 level is just shy of a 786 retracement. That's on the one. That was an 80-20 move to the upside, also on the 1 hour. And it's the same on the 4 as well. So 618 retracements on both time frames. Retesting that weekly level, which was support in the past. That's what I'm looking to see. So I'm looking for another push to the upside before we fully turn over, and then I'm looking for shorts.
Yep. Love it. I love it. I love it. The 80-20 swing, right?
Yep, exactly.
This is key, everybody. Shallow retracement less than the 382. Do we stall out of reverse before we hit that D extension? That's it. Yeah, your trend lines and X on this one. An X. Yep. Yep. That's it. All right. Once you get your chart set up, let them play out. All right. We'll take a look at this pound New Zealand. Okay. Look at that. What in the world? Slowly but surely. All right. So let's look at this weekly chart. Okay. Past resistance becoming future support. All right. It's getting long off that level. Okay. So if we come down, we'll take a look at the 4 where the setup occurred. There's the swing. Okay. Coming in at TP1 achieved. All right. So now we're getting a bit of a reaction. Okay. So if you played it, congratulations on the pound New Zealand. Okay. We've hit the first TP level. Any questions on the pound New Zealand?
No, sir. Another great move.
Randy, you played it, done that. Awesome. Yeah, it was a great move. Definitely a great move. We'll take it. We'll take it. All right. Great work. Great work.
Good work.
Awesome job. All right. Let's talk about the pound dollar. Let's take a look at it. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Let's talk about the pound dollar.
You called this yesterday morning, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. It worked out pretty good. That one worked out pretty good. For sure. Hey, man. It's the team and spotting this stuff all over the place. Here we go, right? We drew that trend line, everybody, on that pound dollar. Dang. All right. It's moving down. Look at that swing off that 123.06 level. So let's see if we can get involved in that, right? So you already have right here on this 4 hour, you've got a 4 hour low that's already looking like it wants to. It already did it, really already broke it. Now you've got another one here, all right? So you had a swing low that formed here, 2 candles to the left, 2 candles to the right that are higher than the center wick low. We snapped it. Now we're looking at this. Now we're looking at this 4 hour level. So let's see if we can catch, pullbacks, continuations on this play. But that right there. That's a definite. All right, that's a definite. Could you have been more aggressive on the trend line? Could I have drawn that more aggressively? Yes. All right. Could have took it off the lows and went straight through the high. Okay, so you got an earlier entry there. And this is why we go over these charts over and over and over again. Why? So you can train your eyes and see it. Right? It's like an athlete. Right? I see an off-speed pitch coming in baseball. If I see it enough, I'm going to hold my hands back. Right? I'm going to hold my hands back. Get my timing better. Right? I'm going to be reactive. If I'm a football player, I'm going to read my keys. I'm going to be reactive. Why? Because I practiced it all week and I've watched a ton of hours of film. And I know that every time this player steps in this direction, this is where the play is going. And I'm going to react. So that's why we do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Live in the market so you can see it, because that's what helps you build the confidence. Everybody follow me on that. Drop me a 2 in the chat, please. All right. Learn how to mark your charts up. Learn how to find your sweet spots, because then once you see the sweet spots, the key is breaking through the psychological barrier to when you see it, you take the trade. You pull the trigger and you take the trade, right? Okay. That's the key. Being addicted to the process, right? That's where the magic happens. So here we are on this one, right? So, okay, we've got a down move, we've got an impulse leg. Okay, hey, can we, bang, okay, let's see what happens. Can we get a move up to retest, right? We're not in the 80-20 zone. Do we retest? Do we move up? Do we retest and then move down? Okay. Continue to watch it. Any questions on the pound dollar? Wait for the retest. All right. Let's jump into this NZD USD real quick before we wrap it up. For the 80-20, that did you call out on the 30 minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's see what you're saying. So I think this is the one too that I wanted to review. So you see here, this is what I was talking about earlier. It was the NZD USD. I was right on that. So you see this 80-20 swing, and then you got a TP1, right? And this is the example that I wanted to show everybody from the last one. So you got that TP1, but you've got that daily, that 60-51 level. You have to know I've got to secure the bag there at that level. Okay. It hasn't quite worked its way all the way to my TP1 yet, depending on where you put it, right? But when you've got a daily level coming in line with the take profit zone, you want to take profit. Right? You want to take profit. You don't want to give that back. At least you want to move your stop up in profit. Right? In case you've got to recognize that. That's why running this, people ask us, especially when we first started, why can't you just trade on one chart? Of course you can. But why do you go from the top down? Because of this. Right? How do you see that level if you don't do it from the top down? Right? unless you're playing here in this zone. You say, well, it hit this level once on the 4, maybe it'll reverse again, right? But that's a daily level brought down from the daily chart, and look at the reaction that we got back to the downside. So naturally, we have an impulse leg, which puts us in that mode of exactly what Donette is seeing, okay? 1 hour, new AV boundary, larger wave, okay? That's an 80-20, by the way. Okay. Larger wave, that's the 1. So on the smaller wave, on the 30, okay, we'll check it out. Bring this up to the 30-minute. Bang. Nice call. Let's see what happens. Okay. Be patient. Okay. Great work. 382 target. 61.8 target. That's on the 30. Okay, so we've got those targets drawn out. We know we're in the 80-20 zone. That's starting to kind of try to U-turn too. Okay, so for my intraday traders, we're looking for a wave. Okay. We're looking for a wave. So let's see what happens. Right? So either trade the zone or you can find a wave. See if it's time, see if it's ready to do that. Okay. So whatever time frame you trade on, find a wave. All right, that's your 15-minute there. And there's your targets, right? That's the foundation of it all. That's how it all gets started, is recognizing the zone. Any questions on the NZD USD? No? I like that analogy, Karen. All right. Any questions before we log off?
Can we peek at SPX real quick?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. What you thinking? It's trying to double bottom on the 1.
That's what I was looking at. I am short. My position is at 437,624. But I was looking at this double bottom and it looked like it was turning over on the 15.
Yeah, you say you're short?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your key level here, right? So we just look at structure, look at that.
Yep, I see it.
See that trying to hold. So it's just gonna, it could go either way. It could go anywhere. We're getting a pop in those yields. We're getting some dollar strength. It's been a nice rally. It can go either way right now. It could go either way. So if it gets through that 43.32 level, right, and take out that low where you see that wick, then we probably can continue bearish for a bit. But that's been a nice rally to the upside. So that's holding right now. So we'll have to see. But it's early. It's 7:30, right? We don't even have the markets open yet. You know, the stock exchange not even open yet. So it's early. Anything can happen, especially with everything that's going on. So I kind of say bullish. So we'll see. We'll see if the rally can continue. These investors have been pretty resilient. I tell you that this year. They're pretty resilient. Now some people just got smashed up, right? If you don't know that 80-20, right? you got smashed up and pretty much wiped out all your gains for the year on the S&P. Messing around, some folks. But yeah, that's whole longs. But it's trying to do its thing. So we'll see if it holds at that level. That's it. Ryan, anything before we close out?
Great session, bro. Continue to put in the work, good people. You guys see day after day. Day after day. The market moves, and what we teach, we see, right? So I understand that at times it can get difficult. It can be difficult to be patient, but it also can be difficult to trust yourself and pull the trigger. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to have belief that you can do it. You can learn the skill. You can make progress, and that perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But we got to keep taking action in order to overcome those feelings of uncertainty and doubt. The action is going to overcome that. Nothing else. Nothing will overcome the uncertainty outside of taking action in opposition of that uncertainty. That means we got to go. We got to start walking. And if you're walking, you got to start jogging. If you're jogging, you got to start running. Great session.
Well said. Well said. Well said. I hope everybody took some notes on that one. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Donette, where you looking at? You say go. Where you looking at? Hold on one second. Let me see.
I don't know. Mine shows 80 is an 80-20 on the 5 minute.
On the 5, I mean, I could be wrong on that though. I'm just trying to mark it up real quick. Let me see.
And then in the 30 minute, it just hit the D.
Hit the D. That's what I got on the 5, and then on the 30. I'll play around with it once we log off. If you've got it marked up, put it in the Discord for me. Can you do that?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Enjoy your Friday. Hey, take heed to the awesome message that Ryan gave, because it's very, 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 very powerful. So go back and listen to it again if you have to. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.